This is Nadine. You know, when I'm dieting and trying to eat healthy, I find I still like my desserts and my sweets. So I've come up with a lot of desserts that are below 200 calories. To me, that's a dessert that I can enjoy and still be healthy because it's not too much. And I like to change out some of the ingredients in a regular recipe for stuff that's a little bit more healthy when I can. Today I'm going to show you how to make a chocolate pudding that's put in a cup to look like a graveyard. So it's got a chocolate pudding with chocolate crumbs on top, chocolate cookie crumbs on top, and then a sugar cookie that's a tombstone. All of these items need to be made separate. So I'm going to start right now by showing you how to make the chocolate crackers that we will be making into crumbs so that it can be the dirt in our graveyard. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to sift together the flour and the cocoa powder. So I have my bowl, and I don't need a very big bowl because I don't have that much flour and cocoa powder. Then I'm going to dump my flour and my cocoa powder into my strainer. I like using a strainer opposed to a sifter because it just works better. So now I just take my spoon and I just push that around. And you'll notice how fast it's going through there. And we get these all sifted together. And apparently I had a little bit of water in my cup with the flour. So I may have some stuff here that won't go through because the water's making it become like a paste. But we're going to try to get as much of it to go through as possible. And then, because I'm just going to mix it up in a cracker form, I will dump that in so that I still have it and have the right amount. Just dump that in. If your bowl's not wet, which it shouldn't be, I guess I should have checked mine better, then you won't have that little issue I had. It'll all go right through. The reason we're sifting it is we're wanting it to be as fine as possible. But it's going to all get mixed in our bowl in just a minute. So now this is ready to go into our mix as we mix it. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to mix our butter substitute and our sugar substitute in our bowl. In our bowl, we're going to dump our butter and we're going to dump the Trevia. That is the brand that I use. There's a lot of other brands, but I like to use not the chemical-based sugar substitutes, but the natural base. And this is the Trevia baking blend. And so that's what I have on the recipe. And you can choose that, or you can find another one that is a sugar substitute and use that. So I'm just going to beat these until they're mixed together well. And now I'm just going to add my egg. Now I'm making a very small batch of this because I don't need that much and I don't want a lot of extra crackers. So I actually halved the original recipe. Now that that's mixed in, I'm going to go ahead and add my vanilla. And I'm just going to beat it till it's mixed in. Now I'm going to stop the beater, and you'll notice this is really runny. The reason it's runny is because the butter substitute is runnier than regular fat. What we're going to do now is add the dry ingredient. So I'm just going to dump this all in to my pan. I'm just going to dump this all into my mixing bowl, not pan. We're not cooking it. And we're going to beat this on a fairly low speed to start incorporating it. And once I see it's most of the way mixed in, I can then turn the speed up just a little bit. The main reason I want to start it really low is because I want to make sure it doesn't splash up in my face. Now I can just mix that up. And now I want to scrape this down. This is going to be runnier than most of the dough when you do regular fat. So what you can do at this point is we're just going to add just a little bit more flour. Just enough to make this kind of a dough consistency. Because this is supposed to be a cracker and we want to be able to work the dough a little bit. So I'm going to mix that in. And we want this to become more like a dough. And adding that extra little bit of flour helps compensate for the fact that the low-fat butter substitute has more water in it. So we have that all mixed in, and now we're just going to scrape down the beater. And this is still kind of really soft, but that's okay because what we're going to do in the next step is we're going to take this and put it in some parchment paper. I have my parchment paper right here, and I just want to lightly flour my parchment paper. And then I'm going to take my batter or dough that I have here and put it on this parchment paper. And I just want to take half of it. The other half I'm going to put in between another one. And then I'm going to take this other piece of parchment paper. Make sure it also has some flour on it. So this one I'm just going to go like this, spread it around, and then I'm going to put this on top of that. What I want to do is get my rolling pin, and with my rolling pin I'm just going to roll this out to about 1/4 thickness. Try not to do that. Try not to get it to come out from the parchment paper. So try to be a little bit more aware of where it is. Just roll it out. Kind of look and see. It's about the right thickness. So that was half of it. And then this and the other one that I'm going to do in a minute is just going to get put in the refrigerator overnight so it can firm up. Then we'll be ready to bake our chocolate crackers. Our chocolate cracker dough has sat overnight in the fridge. I'm ready now to cook it. I have my pan that I'm going to cook it in, and then I have this that I had in the fridge. So I'm just going to take this parchment paper and I'm going to put it there in the pan. And then I'm just going to peel that top parchment paper off. And then I'm going to do the same with the other one. Just peeling that top parchment paper off. If I were going to actually make crackers, I would at this point then cut these into crackers and separate them and put them on the pan. But because what I want to do is cook these and then put them in a food processor and make them into crumbs so that it looks like dirt, I can just cook them like this. And then when I'm done, I just break it apart once it's cooled, of course. and grind it up. I'm going to put this in the oven. I've preheated the oven to 325 degrees. The recipe says to cook this for about 20 minutes, but I'm actually going to start checking a little bit early at about 15 minutes. Because I'm using the light spread instead of regular butter, it may end up cooking a little bit faster. So I'll start checking it at 15 after, and when I pull it out, I'll tell you just how long it took to bake. So we'll be back when this is done baking. Our chocolate crackers have cooled quite a bit. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take this and turn it upside down and peel that parchment paper off it. And then I'm going to let this cool the rest of the way. And I'm going to do the same with the other one. Just turn it upside down. Peel that paper off. And then let this cool the rest of the way. And then we'll be ready to break it up into pieces that will fit into my food processor and just make it a nice dirt-looking crumbly mixture. We want to now get the cracker into crumbs so that it looks like dirt. So what we're going to do, we're going to take our blender or food processor, and I'm just going to break this up and put it in. Remember, I wasn't worried about how neat it looked because it's all going to get broken up into crumbs. So we're just sticking it all in there. So we can get it all to fit in. Not sure it's all going to fit in, but we'll try. Because I know it's just that it's big chunks. Okay. Now I just want to stick that on, and then I'm just going to pulverize this so that it looks like dirt. And there, take that blade out, you can see we have what looks like dirt, and that's ready to go on top. We'll be back to put it all together once the chocolate pudding has cooled.